Hello, everyone. How are you today? I hope you're well. I hope your day is going well. Now, today I wanted to talk to you about something a little bit interesting, and it's about this creature here. This is called a Labubu. Have you heard of this? This is an example of a trend. So this trend is going viral, and I'm not sure about you, but I've been seeing it all over the place. So I thought it would be interesting to have a look at that today. Now, let's have a look at this article here. So it says, adorable or just weird? How Labubu dolls conquered the world. Now, do you think this is adorable or weird, and why? Well, if we have a look at a picture. Okay, perfect. So let's have a look at this picture here. Now, how would you describe this thing? Well, you can see large eyes, you can see bunny ears, and you can see a big grin. So at first glance, you may say, okay, this thing looks quite cute. But if you look closely, you'll notice that the teeth are quite sharp and the smile goes up towards the eyes. And you can see a bit of a frown as well. So it looks a bit strange. I don't know. You can tell me what you think at first glance. So adorable, what does this mean? Well, adorable is when something is extremely cute, lovable, or charming in a way that makes people feel affectionate or protective. If you see a little puppy and you may say, that puppy looks adorable. You can also say someone's drawing is adorable. Now, so it's often used for babies, animals, or sweet behavior. So anything that makes you go, oh, that's cute. Now, weird. What does weird mean? Well, weird means strange, unusual, or difficult to explain. Often in a way that feels a bit odd or unexpected. For example, that's a weird hat you're wearing. It felt weird walking into an empty school at night. So it can describe something that's funny, strange, creepy, or just different from normal. And the tone depends on the context. So whenever you're learning a language, the context of the situation changes everything. So you have to understand what the context is. So here we can see another picture of these adorable or weird creatures. So whether you reckon they are cute, ugly, or just plain weird, chances are you have heard of the furry dolls that have become a global sensation. Now, reckon, this is a British English verb that means to think, believe, or suppose something is true. This is very informal, but you will hear it a lot. So, for example, I reckon it's going to rain later. So, I think it will rain later. Do you reckon he'll be on time? Do you think he'll be on time? Oops, let me straighten this up here. In informal British English, it's very common in everyday conversation. In American English, reckon is less common except in some regional speech, and think or believe is used instead. Okay. Born a monster, the elf-like creature from Chinese toy maker Pop Mart is now a viral purchase. So viral here means spreading very quickly, especially on the internet, usually through social media sharing and reposting. So for example, her funny dance video went viral and got millions of views in a week. That meme is viral right now. So outside of the internet context, it can also mean caused by a virus. So he's got a viral infection. And it has no dearth of celebrity advocates. Rihanna, Dua Lipa, Kim Kardashian, and Blackpink's Lisa. Ordinary folk are just as obsessed. From Shanghai to London, the long queues to snap up the doll have made headlines, sometimes descending into fights even. So this is an interesting phrase. It has no dearth of celebrity advocates. This means there is no shortage of famous people supporting or promoting it. So in other words, many celebrities are backing up or speaking up for it. So dearth. Now dearth means a lack or shortage of something. So saying no dearth means that there is plenty of something. Snap up as a phrasal verb means to quickly buy or take something because it's in high demand or a good deal. So for example, tickets for the concert were snapped up within minutes. I managed to snap up a bargain at the sale. So for example, when there is Black Friday or when you have Christmas sales, you can snap up a good bargain. So that's a nice phrasal verb, a real world phrasal verb that you'll hear very often. You get a sense of achievement when you are able to get it among such fierce competition, says avowed fan Fiona Xiang. The world's fascination with Labubu has almost tripled Pop Mart's profits in the last year, and according to some, even energized Chinese soft power, which has been bruised by the pandemic and a strained relationship with the West. So how did we get there? I quite like this paragraph. It's very, very descriptive. So here we have soft power. So soft power, we can think about things in pop culture. So if something is trending and popular, it can make the country popular as well. Just think about Hollywood movies, music, and now because we have the internet, you can have so many things that can go viral and it can increase the popularity of the culture. You only have to think about things like Korean music, K-pop, for example. So that's becoming very popular. Then people start to become interested in the culture. And here it was bruised by the pandemic. So when you have a bruise, you can have a bruise on your skin. If you hit your arm on the table, you can have a bruise. Your skin can go black. So your arm is damaged but not broken. So how did we get here? Okay, now what exactly is Labubu? It's a question that still bothers many, and even those who know the answer are not entirely sure they can explain the craze. Labubu is both a fictional character and a brand. The word itself doesn't mean anything. It's the name of a character in the Monsters toy series created by Hong Kong-born artist Kai-Sing Lung. The vinyl faces are attached to plush bodies and come with a signature look. Pointy ears, big eyes, and a mischievous grin showing exactly 9 teeth. A curious yet divided internet can't seem to decide if they are adorable or bizarre. So here we can see some more of the dolls. We can see a sold out sign. They are very popular. According to its retailer's official website, Labubu is kind-hearted and always wants to help, but often accidentally achieves the opposite. The Labubu dolls have appeared in several series of the monsters, such as Big Into Energy, Have a Seat, Exciting Macaron, and Fall in Wild. The Labubu brand has also has other characters from its universe which have inspired their own popular dolls, such as the tribe's leader Zimomo and her boyfriend Taikoko and her friend Mokoko. I didn't think I would ever be saying these words before, but there you go. To the untrained eye, some of these dolls are hard to distinguish from one another. The connoisseurs would know, but Labubu's fame has certainly rubbed off, with other specimens in the family also flying off the shelves. We have a very nice word here, connoisseurs. Connoisseurs. So connoisseurs are people who have a lot of knowledge and experience about a particular subject, especially in art, food, wine, or culture, and can judge its quality very well. For example, she's a connoisseur of fine wines. The art connoisseurs praise the painting's details. You can also say, for example, I'm a coffee connoisseur, or I'm not a coffee connoisseur. Basically, a connoisseur is an expert or someone who really appreciates the finer things. Rubbed off is a phrasal verb that usually means something like a quality or a habit has been passed on from one person to another. For example, her positive attitude has rubbed off on everyone around her. So here, her good mood influenced other people and they also felt good. A mark or stain has been removed by rubbing. So for example, the paint rubbed off on my clothes. Or you could rub something off. If you have a stain on your clothes, you may have to get a cloth with some water to rub off the stain. Perfect. So who sells Labubus? A major part of Pop Mart sales were so-called blind boxes. So this is where customers only found out what they had bought when they opened the package. For some years, when they tied up with Casing Lung for the rights to Labubu. That was 2019, nearly a decade after the entrepreneur Wang Ning opened Pop Mart as a variety store similar to the Pound Shop in Beijing. When the blind boxes became a success, Pop Mart launched the first series in 2016, selling Molly dolls, childlike figurines created by Hong Kong artist Kenny Wong. But it was the Labubu sales that fueled Pop Mart's growth, and in December 2020, it began selling shares on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. These shares have soared by more than 500% in the last year. Wow. That's a huge number. Soared is the past tense of the verb soar, which means to rise or fly very quickly and high. So for example, the eagle soared above the mountains, or prices soared after the new tax was reduced. So it's when something increases very quickly, very rapidly. Pop Mart itself has now become a major retailer. It operates more than 2,000 vending machines or robo-shops around the world. And you can now buy Labubu dolls in stores, physical or virtual, in more than 30 countries, from the US to UK to Australia and Singapore. Although many of them have recently paused sales due to overwhelming demand. Sales from outside mainland China contribute to nearly 40% of its total revenue in 2024. Revenue means the total amount of money a company or organization earns from its business before any costs are deducted. So, for example, the company's revenue increased by 10% last year. So it's basically the income generated before expenses or profits are taken away to give you the final figure. Now, this is a sign of how popular Labubus have become. Chinese customs officials said this week they had seized more than 70,000 fake dolls in recent days. Wow. So the demand did not rise overnight, though. It actually took a few years for the elfin monsters to break into mainstream. Now, mainstream is a very common word, and you'll hear it very often. So mainstream means the ideas, attitudes, activities, or people that are considered normal, usual, or accepted by the majority of society. So, for example, pop music is part of mainstream culture. When you think about the music that you listen to on popular radio stations, now you can, of course, find alternative music, just like you can find niches in any industry, but you have to look harder than something that's mainstream. So pop music is mainstream because it's everywhere. Now, how did Labubu go global? So before the world discovered Labubu, their fame was limited to China. They started to become a hit just as the country emerged from the pandemic in 2022, according to Ashley Dudarnok, founder of China-focused research firm Chozan. So post-pandemic, a lot of people in China felt they wanted to emotionally escape. And Labubu was a very charming but chaotic character, she says. It embodied that anti-perfectionism. That's quite interesting. Now, looking at the Labubu, it actually makes sense now, because you initially think, this thing looks cute, but then you realize it's not perfect. And I think that adds to the appeal and the interest, because when you look at a lot of dolls and children's toys, you have the traditional princess with the crown or other plush toys. They look perfect, but this doll is anti-perfect. So it's like a way to express your personality. The Chinese internet, which is huge and competitive, produces plenty of viral trends that don't go global. But this one did, and its popularity quickly spread to neighboring Southeast Asia. Fiona, who lives in Canada, says she first heard about Labubu from Filipino friends in 2023. That's when she started buying them. She says she finds them cute, but their increasing popularity is a major draw. The more popular it gets, the more I want it. So this is quite interesting. So because it becomes very popular, you see it more often, you see celebrities with it, and then you feel like you want to have it. So if you don't have it, then you can have FOMO, fear of missing out. My husband doesn't understand why me, someone in their 30s, would be fixated on something like this, like caring about which color to get. Okay, so that's quite interesting, because you would assume that only children or teenagers would like this, but here we have adults who are enjoying these Labubus. It helps that it's also affordable, she adds, although surging demand has pushed up prices on the second-hand market. Fiona says the original price, which ranged from 25 Canadian dollars to 70 Canadian dollars for most Labubus, was acceptable to most people she knows. That's pretty much how much a bag accessory would cost anyway these days. Most people would be able to afford it. I think that if you have children though, and they are pressuring you into buying this, $70 is way too much. The price is too high. But if you're an adult and you are earning your own money, you could justify it. Labubu's popularity soared in April 2024 when Thai-born K-pop superstar Lisa began posting photos on Instagram with various Labubu dolls, and then other global celebrities turned the dolls into an international phenomenon this year. Singer Rihanna was photographed with a Labubu toy clipped to her Louis Vuitton bag in February. Influencer Kim Kardashian shared her collection of 10 Labubu dolls with her Instagram following in April. And in May, former England captain Sir David Beckham also took to Instagram with a photo of a Labubu given to him by his daughter. So you can see you've got quite a mixed collection of celebrities there, from music celebrities to, I'm not quite sure what Kim Kardashian does, and then to David Beckham, a sports icon. So now the dolls feel quite ubiquitous, regularly spotted, not just online, but also on friends, colleagues, or passers-by. Ubiquitous. I love this word here, ubiquitous. So ubiquitous means present everywhere at the same time or very common. So for example, smartphones are ubiquitous these days. Almost everyone has one. Now, what's behind the Labubu obsession? Okay, before we continue, let me just get my coffee. My mouth is getting a bit dry. Put simply, we don't know. Like most viral trends, Labubu's appeal is hard to explain. The result of timing, taste, and randomness that is the internet. Beijing is certainly happy with the outcome. State news agency Xinhua says Labubu shows the appeal of Chinese creativity, quality, and culture in a language the world can understand, while giving everyone the chance to see cool China. Xinhua has other examples that show Chinese cultural IP is going global. The video game Black Myth, Wukong, and the hit animated film Nezha. Some analysts seem surprised that Chinese companies, from EV makers and AI developers to retailers, are so successful despite Western unease over Beijing's ambitions. So let's scroll down here. The element of surprise is a big part of the appeal, said Desmond Tan. So element of surprise. This is a very nice phrase. This means the quality of being unexpected or sudden, which catches people off guard. And for example, the team used the element of surprise to win the game. So if someone expects something or you to act in a certain way, and you have the element of surprise, it can shock everyone because they weren't ready for that. So I'm just going to scroll down here. Okay, so this is quite an interesting article, and it will be good to get your opinion and even start to work on your questions. So, for example, you can ask the question, why are Labubu dolls so popular? Then we can use our listing. Firstly, they are popular because. Secondly, they are popular because. Then we can conclude with particularly, if there's a specific reason. They are particularly popular because. I think that the prices of these things are ridiculous. They are very overpriced. Even the fake dolls, even children are able to spot the fake dolls, which are called lafufus. So you can't get away with buying a fake one to appease your child, because all of their friends will know that it's fake. So the prices of these things are ridiculous. It can put unnecessary pressure on parents. And I wish the prices of these were I wish that they would come down to make them more affordable. For adults, if you have the disposable money, that's your money. It's no one's business about what you spend your money on. The doll itself, I think they are being smart. It's a business. They've noticed that these things are very popular, have gone viral, so they can cash in, because they don't know how long this trend will last for. Back in my day, we had things like the troll dolls. I'm not sure if you remember them. And they had very long hair. But with the troll dolls, you could style the hair, you could braid the hair, you could do something with it. Then after that, I think the most recent one was LOL dolls, and they had lots of accessories. And this Labubu is much in the same vein, because you can accessorize it, you can buy clothes for it. And also having the blind box. It's a bit like gambling, because you don't know which one you're going to get, so you can end up spending a lot of money. But on the other hand, you have that excitement, that thrill. It's like, in my day, I used to buy Kinder Surprise eggs, and I used to be really excited. I really wanted the little car toy that you could make, and it was like a push car. Then over time, they started to change the toys, because they were concerned about children choking on the small parts. So they would sell these small toys. I remember they had little terrapins, little turtles, and it was not as fun as the little toys that you could make. So blind boxes have been around for a while. This idea has been around for a while. But the difference is the Kinder Surprise eggs were much more affordable than these Labubu blind boxes. So it can also be a way to show your status, because if you have a lot of Labubu dolls, it shows that you have a lot of money, because you need lots of money to buy these things, especially the rare ones. They can go into the hundreds of pounds. So let me know, what do you think about these Labubu dolls? Are they adorable? Are they weird? Are there any other viral trends that you have seen? Have you succumbed to these viral trends, which means, have you given in to any of these viral trends? It's very easy sometimes, because if you're seeing this all the time, you can also be intrigued and think, let me try it. For example, like the Dubai chocolate. And when you try it, you're confused. Why is this thing so popular? And it's more about being swept along with that hype than the actual product being any good. So let me know what you think about this. Also, I am going to have a group English speaking class. This is a paid class, and I would love for you to join. Please email me at info@britishharry.com for more information. Thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next lesson. Thank you, and bye-bye.